Have you ever heard a story so ordinary that it almost lulls you into believing nothing bad could ever happen? A Friday night, two children tucked into bed, a teenage babysitter waiting for the parents to return home. Everything seems perfectly safe until the babysitter disappears without a trace. This is not a ghost story. This is not an urban legend whispered at sleepovers. This actually happened. And the truth is far more terrifying than anything you could imagine. It was a crisp autumn evening in a small American suburb, the kind of neighborhood where everyone knew each other by name. The Sanders family had hired Emily Harper, a bright, responsible 17-year-old high school senior, to watch their two young children, Daniel, age 7, and Lily, age 4. Emily was well-loved in the neighborhood. With her long chestnut hair, warm brown eyes, and a shy but caring smile, she was the perfect babysitter. She dreamed of studying early childhood education in college, and babysitting gave her both practice and a way to save money. That night, after dinner, Emily helped the kids brush their teeth, read them a bedtime story, and kissed them goodnight. The children drifted off to sleep, safe and sound in their rooms. Emily then settled onto the living room couch, scrolling on her phone, occasionally glancing at the clock. The parents were expected back around midnight, but they never saw her again. When the Sanders returned just after midnight, the house seemed perfectly normal. The lights were on. The TV was playing softly. The children were fast asleep, but Emily was gone. Her shoes were still by the door. Her bag was on the table. Her phone had been left behind. It was as if she had simply vanished into thin air. The parents searched the house frantically, then the yard, then the street. Nothing. They called her phone, but it rang from the coffee table. Emily would never leave without her phone or without telling anyone. By 12:45 a.m., panic had fully set in. The police were called. At first, detectives thought Emily might have walked to meet a friend. Maybe she got bored. Maybe she was rebellious. After all, she was a teenager. But her friends insisted Emily wasn't like that. She was reliable. She never snuck out. She wasn't even dating anyone at the time. The evidence inside the house was chilling in its emptiness. No signs of forced entry. No broken windows. Nothing stolen. It was almost too clean. The only detail that stood out was the back door. It was unlocked. The Sanders swore they had locked it before leaving. Had Emily gone outside? Or had someone come in? Neighbors were questioned. One neighbor recalled seeing a dark-colored van parked near the Sanders home around 11 p.m. Another claimed they heard what sounded like a muffled scream, but dismissed it as kids playing. As the hours turned into days, the community descended into fear. Parents refused to leave their kids with babysitters. Teenagers were terrified to walk home alone. Everyone was asking the same question: who would want to hurt Emily Harper? As police dug deeper, a disturbing pattern emerged. Emily's disappearance was not an isolated incident. Over the past year, in nearby towns, two other young babysitters had vanished under eerily similar circumstances. Both were last seen putting children to bed. Both disappeared from seemingly safe suburban homes. Both cases unsolved. Suddenly, Emily's case wasn't just a missing persons report. It was part of a nightmare that had been unfolding quietly in the shadows. 2 weeks later, a breakthrough came. Surveillance footage from a gas station just 3 miles away showed Emily alive. The grainy video showed her standing near a payphone, looking anxious, glancing over her shoulder repeatedly. Moments later, a tall man in a baseball cap approached her. He appeared to say something. Emily shook her head. He grabbed her arm. She resisted, but he pulled her into the shadows, out of view. She was never seen again. Detectives released the footage to the public, but the man's face was obscured. No one could identify him. Leads poured in, but none panned out. The Sanders were racked with guilt. They replayed that night in their minds over and over. Should they have installed cameras? Should they have checked the locks more carefully? The weight of Emily's absence was unbearable. And yet, the cruelest irony was that the children never even knew she had vanished. When they woke up the next morning, they asked, "Where's Emily?" How do you explain to a 7-year-old that their babysitter simply disappeared? Months passed. Then, a letter arrived at the Sanders home. It was typed, "No return address." The words sent chills through their veins. She did everything right. But she trusted the wrong person. She's mine now. The letter was signed with a single initial, R. Police couldn't trace it. But the message was clear. Whoever had taken Emily wanted the world to know she was gone for good. What made Emily's story so haunting was the cruel irony of it all. She had done everything parents tell their children to do. Stay inside. Keep the doors locked. Take care of the little ones. Don't talk to strangers. And yet, it wasn't enough. The monster wasn't lurking in some dark alley. He was right there, in the quiet comfort of a suburban neighborhood, watching, waiting, striking when no one expected. To this day, Emily Harper has never been found. No body, no confession, no closure. The case remains open, a wound in the heart of her community. Every Halloween, the Sanders place a candle in their window, a silent vigil for the babysitter who never came home. For the families in that town, bedtime stories will never feel the same. The very idea of putting the kids to bed carries a ghostly weight, because behind every locked door, every babysitter's smile, lurks the terrifying possibility that it could happen again. Emily's story is more than a tragedy. It is a reminder. We live in a world where danger doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it looks like a friendly neighbor. Sometimes it's a stranger in a van. Sometimes it's the silence that hides just beyond the back door. Her disappearance forces us to ask, how safe are we, really? And how much of the security we feel is just an illusion? The life lesson is this. Never take safety for granted. Stay vigilant. Trust your instincts. And remember, evil thrives in the moments we assume it cannot touch us. Because Emily Harper assumed she was safe. The Sanders assumed they had locked the door. And the community assumed things like this don't happen here. But assumptions can be deadly. So the next time you tuck your children into bed, the next time you leave your home in the hands of someone you trust, remember Emily Harper, the babysitter who vanished after putting the kids to bed. One moment she was there, the next she was gone. If this story gave you chills, hit subscribe for more mysteries like this. Comment below. Do you believe she ran, or was she taken? The truth is scarier than fiction.